Right, on the right-hand side of your screen, you've got the King holding his famous, legendary Stetson on board, alongside son Kyle, smiling, beaming, the Plymouth Superbird. So a real treat. We're celebrating 25 years of the Petty clan, 3 generations of them succeeding in motorsport. 1949, the original Petty went out and competed in the first NASCAR race, and right through to more generations competing in NASCAR itself. But one of the most iconic cars of NASCAR history is that Plymouth Superbird with the massive rear wing.
But isn't it lovely to see Richard in that Fiat S76 of Duncan Pittaway? That's the machine from 1911, as his son there taking photographs.
Smile, Dad, come on.
Oh, this is a lovely shot. The fact they can go side by side on this narrow track is actually very impressive when you're in a big NASCAR, and a rather narrow, big engine Fiat, I suppose. But Richard hanging onto his hat, the 7-time NASCAR champion, who won it from 1964 up to 1979. And it's Lee alongside, who's a 3-time champion as well. And yeah, Richard with that remarkable background, the king of NASCAR, as he was labelled. And the celebration was yesterday. We really enjoyed it, but it's fun that he can still celebrate today as well.
Yeah, celebrated up on the balcony, but he still talks of that 200th NASCAR win. Fittingly, on Independence Day, the 4th of July, the President of the United States was there at Daytona. It was meant to be, win after win. So from Lee Petty, who kicked it all going, to Richard, the king. No one comes close in terms of NASCAR royalty. And his son, Kyle, who's actually, unbelievably, this is only his first visit for the king. It's visit number 3, and he's lapping it up. He said, we're happy people because we're among motorsport people. And that really is precisely what they are.
It's a great family, isn't it? Lee, the original, and then Richard, and then you're on board here with Kyle. He's now 64 years old. He's had 8 wins in NASCAR himself over his career, but that NASCAR heritage is a huge part of the Petty family.
So Howie was a very strong British. He's just feeling that grip with that leg out. That's slightly unusual. And there's Todd. Todd has now gone quicker. So we are looking at 48.8. So Davey Todd there, you know, this year's winner of the Senior TT, leading the British Superstock Championship, and that amazing old supercharged BMW has just gone top.
Yeah, but he just found just over 3.5 seconds on that lap. So Michael Dunlop's lap now only good for second. And it is drying out. It
is, and also Dunlop is in front of him, so it's an ideal. Again, that is Dunlop in front, so he's been able to use him, push on that bike, and as we say, it's amazing, really, Richard. Dunlop's coming in the pitch. You can see Dunlop there, and it looks like Todd is still on a good lap, so Todd's going to keep on going. So let's have a look what he does. He crosses the line this time, and he fires past. Let's have a little look. A 148.8 to beat. Does he get it on this lap? 147.7, so he's now 2.5 seconds clear of everyone. So what a lap from Davey Todd.
In 2 laps, he's improved by 4.7 seconds, and he looks even more feisty and attacking this time around. Very, very good exit from the chicane, sweeping through the first part of Madrid, the second part, getting down low again, left hand across to change gear. All these things that just seem wrong, but they work.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact it's got, as we say, the suspension is the 2 springs on the rear seat. You know, it's a rigid rear end. It's got this very unusual, old-fashioned, because it is old-fashioned, obviously, cantilevered front end. And what a job he's doing. 1929 this is from. Yeah, it's almost hard to get your head round it. So a magnificent job at the moment.
Right, this is the one to watch. Romain Dumas, who twice before has been the top man here in the hill climb. Can he take a third win of the hill climb shootout? He's got to keep it tidy. He's got to use all of that speed and power. It was a good getaway, 4.4 seconds. It's going well.
Yeah, it's going very well. It flies through, kicks up all the dust. He uses all the amount of road. This is going to be so close. They are neck and neck, Ben.
Wow, this is going to be tight. Can he do it? Can he beat Scott's speed? Is it going to be the Ford Supervan, or will it be the Subaru that has taken the victory? Romain Dumas doing everything to try and get across the line. A fraction faster. Over the line he goes, and it's 43.98. He's done it. He's done it. 43.99 in the end when it's worked out. Romain Dumas takes his third win at the Goodwood hill climb on the Festival of Speed. And Scott Speed has to settle for second place. Romain Dumas really did it there, and that was a fabulous time, wasn't it?
Absolutely fabulous. He casually just slackens his belts there as if, yeah, that was just a casual drive up the hill. Looked so chill, but wow, so impressive.
Romain, that was unbelievable. How do you feel?
Well, I don't know if it was unbelievable, but yeah, 2 corners to the end, I was quite close to the wall. So yeah, I was pushing quite hard, I have to say. A lot of fun again, like always, you know, in this kind of I mean, Goodwood is just amazing. It's a 40 second, but very intense, as you can see with the Ford. I mean, it's quite impressive to go at this speed through this small field, but again, a lot of fun. I told you yesterday I will push at the final, so I'm quite happy that we won it. It's good.
Well, you certainly did. And did you have any idea how fast Scott had gone on his run?
No, not at all. For sure, I saw that they are very motivated, you know, very good that we have competition at this level. I mean, unfortunately, it was many crash, but many crash also shows that everybody is pushing to the limit. And I think, you know, we are also happy to be here at the end of the day. We all want to win. That's competition, and it's for fun. But he proved again this year that we are all, I mean, sending everything for the last final run, and it was very good.
Well, everybody does want that crown, and you had to pull out the fastest time you've done all weekend in order to beat Scott, which you did. We're going to put the run up on the screen for you there to have a look at, and if you could talk us through how it went.
Well, the first corner, you know, is very difficult always because you have to judge the grip. So second corner here is quite tricky because we have so much power that the traction is always difficult to put on the ground. For sure, this corner at the end of the straight is always the hardest one because you see people are doing mistake here. So I took it a little bit carefully. But for sure, from this point on, you know, we have quite a lot of downforce. I knew that I really need to push at this point. And yeah, it was good. I mean, the next one was, for me, the most scary one. In exit here, I lost a little bit the car, quite close to the wall. But it was okay. I mean, a lot of fun, like always.
It certainly looked fun. His Grace now has the prize.
Well done, mate. Great. Yeah. You're a star here.
I don't know if I'm a star, but
fantastic.
So now we are into the final part of the Sidecar Shootout, and the first one, which is about to go on to its flying lap, absolutely crucial at this stage. Sam and Tom Christie, they were 4th fastest in the knockout classification that took place earlier on. James Hayden is with me once again as we analyse what's going on here. And James, with the track cooling down, the temperature's getting a little bit colder, that's going to make life even more tricky, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the things the chaps are saying is it's just really difficult to get those tyres warmed up, especially the left-hand side, you know, to get that even temperature in the tyres on that warm-up lap, and they're only coming in really partly through the actual flying lap, which is why they're all struggling a little bit on turn 1. You've got to attack that lap, but they're doing a good job here. Well, here they are, they're running the long chassis, the GP chassis, 2021 version with the Yamaha R6 engine in it. You know, about 140 brake horsepower, and it's rear engine this one. You see it just fighting a little bit to get it there, and then this is where they really want to spin. Look at the passenger climbing all over it, keeping that weight and then getting tucked in down the straight.
Yeah, the brothers, Sam and Tom Christie, they're doing a great job. They were right in on the pace earlier on. It was a very close battle. The top 4 that we're going to watch were separated by just over 1 second on the flying lap earlier. And as you say, the track conditions are different, so everybody's got to adapt to that. You can see there is a bit more movement, a bit more slide. What we've been watching this weekend at Goodwood with sidecars, absolutely fabulous. And now they're really going for it. This is the one lap. This is the one that ultimately will decide, are they going to be right at the top of the order or not? We'll see what the order is. Across the line, it's a 1:22.2, so that is a little slower than we saw in the slightly warmer conditions we had earlier today.
Yes, it is, but it's actually it's their quickest lap of the weekend.
Okay.
So they've taken another 0.6 of a second off. So for them, I think that's a good lap. You know, they were hoping to get into the 121s as the top next three guys are, but that for them is their best lap of the weekend. And it's been quite difficult, talking to those guys, because they've got like an out lap, a flying lap, an in lap, and Goodwood's somewhere where you kind of want to build a little bit when you're first learning, get some laps in, and certainly talking to Todd Ellis, he felt, if he had a number of laps, he felt he could even get into the 119s.
Yep. That's part of the game. It's like when you're doing a hill climb or a sprint.
Absolutely.
You just go on cold tyres. That's it. So you just have to deal with it, don't you?
Exactly that. It's the same for everyone. You've got what you got. They weren't complaining. They're just saying it's one of the little tricky things. And as you say, with the temperature just having dropped off a fraction, the winds maybe picked up a tad. But a good Sam Christie and Tom Christie there. You can see the effort. These guys super fit and really putting it in. So as they finish their lap, so they've set the markers on 1:22.2. The best from earlier on was a 1:21.64 by Todd Ennis and Emmanuel Clement. So that's the marker in the sand. Next up, we can see number 29. That's Steve Kershaw, Ryan Charlwood. They're on a brand new 2024 LCR Yamaha with a Yamaha R6 engine, and again it's the GP chassis, the long chassis.
And they were actually quickest in the qualifying classification, but they weren't quickest in the knockout classification. So we had a couple of runs yesterday, and then we had the knockout this morning. They ended up third fastest in that, but they were actually fastest yesterday, weren't they?
They were. Talking to them earlier, they've raised the ride height of their sidecar a little bit, so they've lifted it up fractionally and just softened it off, because they just want to try and get it to flow over the bumps and just the humps of Goodwood a little bit better. So they're hoping that's going to give them a little bit more. These guys were full fit.
That wasn't quite right.
No, this is them just fighting that, getting that temperature in the tyres. These long chassis are much better through the left-handers than the little TT chassis that we got coming up after this. Again, a little adjustment there for the passenger. Seems backed off again. Let's just see if he's just trying to warm it up. Just looks like he was just struggling a fraction there for some reason, Ryan Charlwood, but it looks like they're back on it again now.
Well, let's see how it goes for them. So Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood yesterday did a 1:22.4. Earlier today, they did a 1:21.9. So they were in the 21s. And remember, the time to beat so far, just a single time of 1:22.2. They're just coming to the end of the outlap, and they will now come into the chicane and launch to try and set the fastest lap they have done of the weekend, the fastest lap, they hope, of anybody on the sidecars. Away we go. Remember, we are celebrating 75 years since the World Championship of Sidecars began, and it's been a real joy to see this machinery operating in such a fantastic form here at Goodwood, with some of the best riders and passengers in the world. They've got so many championship titles amongst them, but today it's just about getting around Goodwood as quickly as possible.
It is this sort of super pole out, just flying lap. They're doing a good job. Let's have a look. So they're 0.9 of a second up on that first split, and then we come to this left-hander, a little bit edgy through there, because the left-handers, there's only a couple at Goodwood, so the right-hander's always a bit better, but these more square-like tyre, race car tyres spread their temperature better. A little bit of sliding there, heard it spinning.
Yeah, you could hear he was actually having to ease off fractionally, wasn't he, on throttle, but the rider, the driver, as he's also known as, he's leaning on his belly, remember, on his chest, his legs sticking out behind him, and he's working the throttle on the hand, as you would on a motorbike, but he's using his feet for both the gears and the brakes.
Yes, he's indeed. He's coming in. I think he's at least... it's good. Really quite hot there, but I think he's about a second and a half up on the Christie, so we'll have a little look as he comes in, tucks in, as the three-time champion crosses the line. Let's have a look at the time.
121.616. Now that is fractionally the fastest we've seen all weekend by 0.03 of a second. We saw a 21.646 earlier today from Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, but now they've just got a fraction quicker, so they've taken the top spot.
They have indeed. He will be really chuffed with that. You know, it's as we say, it's cooling down slightly. He attacked it. He had a bit of a slide in that last bit, maybe used a fraction too much curve, but I think mostly it was a very neat lap. And as we say, this is it. As he just comes out of here, watch it. He just has that little slide, catches a bit of the grass, and he just releases some grip. Cost him maybe a tenth or two, but he'll be very chuffed with that. Fastest lap of the weekend to Kershaw and Charlwood. So really good job there for the three-time British champions.
Yeah, three-time British champions, and also front runners in the World Championship. They finished third in the World Championship the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons, and they won one event completely, both races last year as well. So they're right up there in the World Championship, and they've proved that pace right now with that 121.616. 2 more to go. Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau with the slightly different machine that will be coming out next, and then Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement, who set the outright pace in the knockout classification.
That's right. So far the 2 Sidecar outfits that we've seen, they've both been the GP chassis, so these are longer, they got wider tyres, they're designed for short, smooth circuit racing, and they haven't got quite as powerful an engine. Now, this outfit that we're about to see, this is Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau. Ben has been a 4-time world champion with his brother Tom, who retired last year. So his new partner is Kevin Rousseau. But they're on a TT-like chassis, so it's shorter, and all the other sidecars are rear engine. This is front engine. It works in quite a different way. All the other bikes in this shoot-off, they've all got Yamaha R6 engines. This has got a Honda CBR engine. But the one thing about these TT chassis, you're allowed to tune the engine more. So it's got maybe 10 to 12 brake horsepower more. One thing it is, though, it's slightly worse on left-handers. It has about 10 inches less rubber down on the road. But you know, he's a superb rider. He's won, as we say, 4 world championships.
Well, that was certainly excellent stuff to see already. We're going to have a little look at a replay of what was going on just a moment ago. Just have a look at what he's doing with his head, just down at the back there. Look at that.
Nice little handstand, and that's how happy they are. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. That's Ryan Charlwood, very happy passenger with Steve Kershaw after they've just set such a brilliant lap. So well done to them, and that was a lovely display as well. Right, okay, let's get back to this bike you were mentioning, that sidecar you were mentioning, and you were also telling me, although it's a front engine, look at that, I'm not surprised to see a bit more weaving to get tyre temperature up. The engine being in front of the driver, but it's actually down at an angle on this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's slanted it right forward, and it's meant he's had to convert it from a wet sump to a dry sump, so it doesn't seize up. And as they start their lap, he really attacks that. And it means that it's lower, it's smaller, it's neater. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts, as you say. Hasn't got as much grip, isn't as wide, hasn't got as much rubber, but it's got a little bit more power.
So here we are then, into Madrick, the first corner. Fast, double apex right-hander. Brings him out wide, try not to go right onto the grass. Beautifully done.
That was neat.
Yeah, that was very neat indeed. Heading down towards Ford Water for an absolutely flat-out little section there with passenger heeling over the side. That is the Kevin Rousseau who's doing all that work. Heading that first in.
He's 9/10 up on that first split, so that is really good. He is flying. Now watch his left-hander. You see the inside wheel just bobbing a bit. Now he comes back down to the right-hander as he comes into St Mary's. It's such an important section, this, using all the track, then getting it back, and then you've got this big, important run down the straight. Missed the apex fractionally, but he's still got a good run.
He has got a good run. So this is potentially, that was a very good speed that we've seen from them as well. So as you mentioned, they have slightly more power in the motor than the World Championship machines, even though in theory they would have a little bit less grip. We shall see how it goes in the last section.
Yeah, he's used all the track. He's coming in. He's just got to get this nailed right. Come in, mind the barrier. We saw a lot of people clipping the barrier, but he comes at me. Now it's the one to the line.
This is a good one. Is it going to be enough to go fastest outright? Across the line he goes. No, it's not.
No.
It's not. The final sector not working out. Maybe it's the straight line speed in the end that wasn't quite so effective. They are third fastest, and it means at the moment Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood are still on top with one more pairing to go. Ben Birchall and Kevin Russo, absolutely brilliant pairing. Ben Birchall, that remarkable both world sidecar records and 14 times winner of the TT. The TT, such a big deal to him and to family, but it didn't quite work out in the end, despite looking fantastic.
Yeah, just that last section, you see that inside wheel just picking up there, but whether he just sort of cost himself a bit of time through there. Now, he wanted to use this because he said this circuit is very TT-like, open, fast, bumpy, so he's using this outfit for practice and also bonding with his new passenger, Kevin, so he'll be slightly disappointed because he's half a second off his best from earlier today, which is a 1:21.88. So I'm sure he'll have been hoping to beat that, and especially just be a 10th off Christie and Christie. But at the same time, it's a nice, it's a nice clean lap.
And when you think, you've got three that are within 3/4 of a second around, on a single lap round here at Goodwood, that's impressive. They are very, very competitive with one another. Lovely to watch. And if you're a sidecar fan, you'll be watching more from Ben Birchall, I'm sure. Tom Birchall, who has been his partner for so long, part of family, that has changed. Tom has now stepped away from doing that at the end of last year. But Ben's going to continue racing with Kevin Russo. And they are making a good pairing, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, he's done so much, as we say, 4 world championships. He's won 14 TTs. He's the lap record holder of the TT with a lap of averaging over 120 miles an hour. But this pair you're looking at now, this is Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. They're back on a GP chassis, so they're the real circuit design chassis. It's another LCR, a Louis Christian Racing chassis with the R6 engine. Now, these guys are the current world champions. They're the double world champions. They were world champions last year and the year before. They're 3 times British championships. And they're also, interestingly, a pairing. They're a couple. They're together, Todd and Emmanuel. And, so it's a really... Well, they're world champions. You can't say much more than that, can you?
No, brilliant job. Todd Ellis, only the 5th ever driver to win both British and World Championships in the same season. In the past, the likes of Jock Taylor, Steve Webster, the brilliant Steve Webster, of course, one of the great sidecar drivers. Tim Reeves has done it, and Ben Birchall, who we've already seen on track, they've done it where they've won World and British Championships in the same season, but these two have done it as well.
That's right, and it also meant they had to miss a couple of British Championships because of the clashes with World, so they couldn't do every round, but they really are a formidable duo, and they're just getting warmed up. Just hear a little bit of spin there, just trying to force that heat in the tyres. As we say, it's one of the things, just almost touched the grass there as they come down, nearly ready to start the last lap as we come down to Woodcote.
Yeah, Emmanuel Clement rides it tucked in. She's very quick and just switching from one side to the other.
And one of the other things, if you look at the left-hand side of the bottom, you can see a slider there, and as they come through here, you'll watch her move, and you just see, so it does straight. It's a good start to the lap, so look how well she gets tucked in.
Yeah, she really reduces the drag by tucking herself down as much as possible, then pushes herself over the right-hand side as they go into the double apex right-hand, and look at how her feet are up in the air. She's just hanging on in there through this incredibly fast corner. I tell you what, it feels fast in a car, let alone when you're hanging on the back of a sidecar and you're just hanging on. There are no harnesses around you. It's up to you to hold on.
Absolutely. These can do up to 170 miles an hour. They won't be doing it around here, but they'll be doing more like 145, 150, but 25.9, so we've got a fastest first split for them. So they really are on it. Now, this is a critical corner to the left-hander, and he comes back, cuts it, misses it maybe fractionally, and look again, climbing over, getting that weight, getting that handhold, so physical as it moves about.
Yeah, this is wonderful, and they are very much in the game to try and beat Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood. They're trying to go for the sidecar shootout victory here at Goodwood.
That was beautiful coming out there, every inch of the track right over the apex, and as they come down, she's tucked in, she's going to look, she's on the upper handhold, and in a second she's going to swap and reach right down to that lower handhold, leg right up in the air. Can he get this right?
Let's have a look. This is such a critical part. They were very quick here earlier, and it's looking good again, isn't it?
It is looking good. They They're going, oh, beautiful coming out of there. It's now attacking them onto the line.
Let's have a look. 1:21.6 to beat. Across the line then comes. And they've done it. They've done it. 1:21.174. And the victory goes to Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. What a fantastic run that was.
That was a great lap, and you could see attacked all the way. They are the current world champions, the double world champions, and they proved to you why they are such a class act. You know, they come out 1:21.1. I mean, that is quick in anything, and what a great lap. So well done. Congratulations to Todd and Emmanuel for doing that. And how close was that? You know, what a great battle that was. All that top four covered by just 1.1 seconds.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to sunny Goodwood on a wonderful Sunday here. We've got a real treat for you. Starting up here to kick off the Red Bull celebration, I'm going to invite Mark Webber, David Coulthard, Christian Klein, and Hamda Al-Kabesi out. Christian, I'm going to start with you because I don't know how many people are aware of this, but you were actually at day zero at Red Bull. You were backed by Red Bull to join Jaguar Racing alongside Mark. How special is it to look back at 20 years of the team?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's so special to see all the 20 cars line up, but then you really understand really the history about Red Bull Racing. To sit in that car that I, from 2005, 20 years ago, it's just magical. V10 engine. I think it's the best sounding car from all the era. It was special, and I haven't been here in Goodwood for about 15 years, so to see all the crowd and all the car enthusiasts was just amazing.
And when you went to Jaguar Racing, I see Sir Jackie Stewart there, who the origin of the team was, of course, Stewart Grand Prix. Did you think that it would become Red Bull Racing and go on to achieve what it has?
I think in the probably first year, the first 2 years, you couldn't really think that this is possible, what Red Bull Racing has achieved in the last 20 years. Although, you know, the vision of Mateschitz was very clear what he wanted to do with this team. And I think as soon as Adrian joined the team, you could really see they don't just want to be part of Formula One, they want to win Formula One. And from there, it just accelerated, and just very, very proud to be a small part of Red Bull Racing.
Brilliant, thank you. Hamda, lovely to see you here. Your first time, I believe, driving at the Festival of Speed. Your Formula 4 cars here, you've been a race winner in championships for that. How cool is it for you to be following this line of cars up the hill?
Yeah, honestly, my point of view in the car was unbelievable. I could see the F1 cars in front, and yeah, it's just an amazing experience. I'm really happy to be here. My first time at Goodwood, and it did not disappoint, so I'm really happy. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, I'm going to pull these two in because you guys laid the foundations, I think it's safe to say, for the success. David, you were there from the very first Grand Prix, 4th place in Melbourne. How do you look back on it?
Well, I think it's a great celebration of who are the new kids on the block in many ways, 20 years young. Of course, this team came out of, you know, Stewart Grand Prix, Jaguar, and then what's been developed into what we see here today. But I think what a great place to celebrate in front of a group of passionate fans. We're all fans, but we got one of the best seats in the house driving these cars, and with so much history here in Goodwood, this is part of the modern history. So it's great to have been part of that journey.
Mark, you love it here. You're pretty much a resident now. Big shout out for Mark Webber. Yes, definitely a few Mark Webber hands here. You're a title contender. You won races. How cool has it been to see what the team has achieved now when you're on the other side of the fence? Because you're now holding the microphone, looking at their recent run of success after your period of dominance earlier a decade ago.
Yeah, of course, like DC touched on, I think, you know, being there in the early days was phenomenal. I think we were in Disneyland if we thought what this team was going to go on to achieve in Formula One against all the giants in the industry that have been around there for absolute decades. So it's a testament to Dietrich Mateschitz's vision to show how he went in elite sports in all sectors, and Formula One was included in that. So DC and I were just very lucky to play a small role in what was an incredible journey. 20 years goes fast, and David's right, you know, to celebrate this here today in Goodwood, this is the best motorsport festival in the world. No one can touch this event. So to do it here on really the team's home turf in the UK, to celebrate that 20 years is really a special day for me.
And Mark, you were at Jaguar Racing in 2004, and then you went away to Williams, but you came back. What was different? Because Jaguar didn't win anything. There was lots of promise. And then this became that dominant force for 4 years where you were there.
Yeah, I think it was just very corporate, of course. And when you get too corporate, the stopwatch suffers. So this team was very clear on their ambitions, lofty ambitions, yes, about winning championships, winning races. They weren't shy about pushing the boundaries. It was a startup mentality, if you like, and that was, you know, the cornerstone to the culture of the success of the team. Make big decisions, get on with it, and back ourselves to beat the best.
Right, I'm going to call two of the decision makers. I'm going to get you guys to wait here a second. Two of those people who definitely weren't corporate, definitely disruptors. the two architects of Red Bull Racing, Christian Horner and Adrian Newey. Christian, were you nervous driving one of your cars?
I was absolutely shitting myself. But I mean, an incredible experience. And to see all these cars running with all our drivers, amazing.
Adrian, you've driven up lots of bits and pieces. You've driven cars that you've designed, Formula One cars you've designed. Was it different driving a road car that you've designed?
Yeah, very different. I also I ended up with a passenger DC, jumped in at the last moment. So one of the reasons why I joined Red Bull in the first place, because of all of the time I'd known DC, so then having passengering and drive up in that car was special.
Well, I mean, we know you're coming to the end of your Red Bull journey now. Why did you join them? You were at Williams, you were at McLaren, these ultra successful teams. Christian's got a startup and he's trying to woo you in. What gave you the incentive to come here?
Well, I've just fancied a fresh challenge. I've been fortunate enough to work for two great teams in Williams and McLaren, and the challenge of working for a team more or less from the start. As I say, David gave it a big vote of confidence. Christian many times happened to be walking the opposite way down the paddock when I was walking in, and so we got to know each other, and I went over to see Dietrich Mateschitz, our owner, and he gave me the assurance that this was going to be a proper outfit, and so the promise of that and the excitement of that, then that swayed me.
Now listen, Red Bull Racing have done 380 Grand Prix. They've done, 381 including Silverstone. They've won 120 of them. You have been at every single Grand Prix. That's an amazing thing. I can't think of many team principals who could have committed the time. I mean, do you feel you have to be in the coalface of it right now?
Well, look, I just love it, and I think that this journey started with the car in front of us, with RB1, with DC and Christian Clean, and we're 120 race wins in and 13 world championships, and it's been a privilege working with these drivers. It's been a privilege working with Adrian. My respect for the drivers has just increased massively, because I don't know how they drove those cars around Monaco, because Adrian left zero space for them. How Mark Webber got in that car, I have no idea. So, but it's been an incredible 20 years. We're incredibly proud, to be British-based, Austrian-owned, but British-based, and to come and bring the cars here this weekend in front of all the fans, is something very, very special.
Now, come on, are you going to miss each other?
Sorry, say again.
Are you? Come on, what are you going to miss about him?
Well, look, we had so much fun over the years, and Adrian's a great friend as well as a colleague, and we've been through an awful lot together, and for sure we're going to miss him, but we're very proud of what we've done together, and my lawn, the amount of donuts he's done on over the years, and all the mischief he's been up to, we're going to miss, but we're very proud of what we did in the time we had together.
Thank you.
Sorry, I mean, it's been a fantastic journey working with Christian from those early years, and how we together developed the team, and all the great people, all the wonderful staff that we have back at the factory and the race team and so forth. So it's been a real privilege. It's something I will always look back on with great fondness.
Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the middle of an incredibly busy run of Formula One races, 5 out of 6 weekends. These 3 guys coming up next have got 1 weekend off, and they've decided to come and spend it with you here at Goodwood. So let's get a massive welcome, a huge round of applause. Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and the reigning world champion, Max Verstappen. Guys, nice to see you here. Daniel, I know you've been here before. Good donuts. You're the only one who committed to it. So the Duke's going to send you the bill, by the way, for a bit of grass.
Can I take some grass with me?
A little bit, yeah. Do you love it?
It's fun. It's great. I'm also happy for the weather so far today. When I arrived yesterday, it didn't look like this. So we've had a good day. And it's fun. My dad was here the last 3 days, and he was sad to leave. So I know there's so much to do, and it's just a nice showing of all types of motorsport here. And yeah, for us here with 20 years of Red Bull racing, it's been a good day for sure.
Your dad was trying to climb into a Lotus the last time I saw him and drive off. So, yeah, it's a good thing he's gone home.
I just leave in my wallet.
Checo, welcome back. You were driving Ayrton Senna's McLaren up the hill, I remember, a few years ago. How cool is it to come back here? You've lived in the UK, of course, for many years.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. You know, the last time I did Goodwood was 10 years ago with McLaren, so it's really nice to come back here with all these people. The passion you get to experience here is really, really special, and obviously with the 20th anniversary of the team, it's definitely a very special day for our organization.
Max, the Duke of Richmond takes great pride in trying to have as many world champions here. This is your first time. Let's have a huge cheer, first of all. How have you enjoyed your first Goodwood experience?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, to be honest, every year I watch it from home, but it's great to be here, see so many people as well, and at the same time also, you know, see so many different cars every single year. You know, I love racing, I love cars, so yeah, it's a great event, and it's great to be here today.
Have you had any chance to go around the paddock?
Not yet, no.
Right.
I think I probably have to just wear something else and try to, you know, go around a little bit and have a bit of fun.
I mean, you could wear, sure we can find you a mask somewhere if you want to have a look around.
I'll dress up as Adrian and then I'll walk around, see how that goes.
Let's just talk a little bit about the season. You know, it started off looking like you were going to absolutely dominate the year. Are you enjoying the fact that it's getting a bit closer?
For sure, you know, we had some great years. Of course, this year also started off really competitively, and now, yeah, everyone is catching up a bit. Every race is a proper battle as well, so it's great. And I think that will continue also for the rest of the season, you know, so it's really unknown what is going to happen, and that's great for the sport.
I mean, you got 3 Brits chasing you, we saw last weekend. Does it give you more satisfaction to have these sort of championship battles where it's tight and intense?
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's just great to have you know, so many fantastic drivers in Formula One, and yeah, making it difficult to win. I think everyone was waiting for that as well, and that's definitely what Formula One fans want, you know. So to have this is great between so many different teams as well. Probably with the new rules, it will be a bit different again for the first 2 years, but yeah, we'll see. But it's going to be a great rest of the year.
Now, you guys, Checo, you were in, as we said, Senna's McLaren earlier. Do you like driving older cars? Do you want to come back and drive, I don't know, something from the past? Is there anything on your bucket list you want to come and drive at Goodwood?
I think in a few years' time it will be nice to get back, you know, like when you see with the ex-drivers from the team that they come back and drive their cars, that they spend such a big part of their lives, you know. So maybe when we do the 40th anniversary of the team, we come back and all together drive our cars again.
What about you, Danny? I mean, maybe a motocross bike. We've seen Dougie Lampkin riding on the roof. We've seen all sorts going on. What do you fancy having going?
Yeah, I was saying something on 2 wheels just to really scare me.
I think it'll scare the contract people, won't it?
Yeah, I know. It's probably for the best that I'm sticking with 4 wheels. But yeah, the older stuff's always fun. It's an experience when you get a clutch on your foot again and not on your hands, and you have a stick and a H pattern and these things that we kind of forgot what to do or how to do it.
You need to come to the revival. We could see Daniel Ricciardo at the revival, can't we? I could see him in an AC Cobra or something. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like the moustache, I'm already halfway there. So all I need is what do you call those English hats?
Flat cap.
Flat cap. Flat cap. Oh, get me one of those. Jolly good.
I'm sure a member of the family can find you a hat. It'll be all right. What about you, Max? Are you going to come? Have you seen the revival? Do you know about the revival? Do you fancy coming to have a play?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Adrian do it, but most of the time I think he is driving the cars a little bit illegal. He's tuning them himself. I think they have a bit more grip than other cars around, but yeah, we'll give it a go. Maybe together with Daniel, will be good fun in one car.
Ooh. Oh, you two could be teammates. Imagine that. Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and the RAC TT. Where's the Duke? We need to get this sorted out here. This is going to be amazing. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you, because we're celebrating 20 years of the team. Christian, let's get you back. Mark, DC, let's get everybody back here. I'd like you guys to pick your favorite Red Bull car before we let you go. Come on, DC, you must have thought of something. I'm gonna start with you while they're doing their thinking. Pick your favorite Red Bull car.
Well, that's got to be RB19 because it's the most successful car. I was lucky enough to drive it at Silverstone just before the Singapore Grand Prix last year, which is the one race they didn't win, so I must have screwed it up.
So it's his fault. Christian, go on.
Oh, it's like picking a favorite child.
It really is for you, isn't it? Because you've been around the whole time.
It is, but look, I think the 16B, that was such a massive year for us. That went all the way down to the final race. So seeing it down there and seeing Max in it again today was fantastic.
Thank you. Christian Klein, have you got a favorite?
I like the cars a bit smaller, and I go by the noise, so it's the RB1 with the V10 engine.
The first one. Adrian, you penciled most of these cars. Have you got a favorite? Again, it's a bit like picking your favorite child. Have you got a favorite?
It is, it's so difficult, but I guess in many ways RB5, because although we didn't win the championship with that one, it was the one that set us on the path of the next four, and it was what really put us on the map.
2009. Mark Webber, he says the 2009 RB5. What do you think?
The bigger brother, RB6. So as Adrian said, the foundations were laid for the RB6, so to win a few Grand Prix with that car was beautiful.
And Checo.
I'll go for the 19 because it was a very strong year for the team. We broke a lot of records this year, so definitely it's one in the history that will be a very important car.
Brilliant. Daniel, Monaco winner. What do you think?
I mean, obviously that was special. It's probably I think it's the 10, the 14. Is that right? 2014? I get confused. Anyway, the 2014 one. Yeah, well, because...
10.
It was a 10, RB10. Yeah, first win, that one.
Right, Max, before I come to you, Hamda, which one do you fancy driving? I'm not going to ask you to pick a number because some of these were before you were born, but come on, which one? Do you fancy any of these?
Honestly, the RB9 drove up the hill yesterday in front of me, and it sounded so cool, so probably that one, I would say.
Brilliant. Max, 3 World Championships, 84 points lead in the championship as we stand today. Have you got a favorite?
I got 3 favorite cars. Yeah, I can't choose. The first one is the RB12 because I thought that was a fantastic car to drive. First win with it as well. It was a bit slow on the straights, but that had nothing to do with the car. Then the 16B, first championship. That's always, I think, pretty emotional, but also it was a great car to drive. And then I have to pick the 19. I think. Yeah, will probably be my most successful car as well ever, you know. So, yeah, it's always an emotional one for sure.
All right, listen, thank you all for your time. I'll let the crowd give you a good cheer to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Adrian Newey starting from pole position. Yes, the great designer in Formula One. Off the line he goes, and it's a good start by Adrian Newey. He makes an absolutely brilliant getaway off the line.
He did. I wonder if that was a jump start, though, because we've seen some of that, some brilliant getaways get penalised yesterday, but he's heading down into turn 1 with the Cobras, the number 7 getting squeezed onto the car, onto the grass, but they're all safely through the first part of Mandaric's corner.
Yeah, a really good start then by Adrian Newey. We'll look back at it, I'm sure, but it's all battling up behind him very closely. Safe Hassan, number 7, is being passed by the other Cobra, the TBR, just missing out a little bit as they come down through there. And it's Andrew Smith who's doing such a fantastic job in the cream AC Cobra. Andrew Smith has launched through. He started on the 3rd row of the grid in 6th place, and look at the lead he's taken already.
He was so brave. He was on the grass at one point, going up through Boardwater, heading through the first part of St Mary's. Now then, they'll swing it left, still jostling for position. The TBR of Mike Whitaker squeezed on the inside there, but already look at the lead from row 3. The Cobra of Andrew Smith has a good gap going into Lavin.
That's really impressive. We've seen how quick he can be. There's some good battles going on further back, some side-by-side action. You see Bobby Verden-Rowe in his silver, very distinctive AC Cobra. He's being a little cautious on these early laps, just not wanting to get into too much difficulty. Richard Kent in the number 88 E-Type, he's up there as well. But what a big lead this is for Andrew Smith, the car that's going to be shared with Dario Franchitti, a winner yesterday at the end of the day with Jimmy Johnson. Well, this is a very good start for the combination between Dario and Andrew Smith. Andrew getting off the line brilliantly well. Further down, there's some great little fights going on as well. The Porsche 904 being driven by Neil Yarni. That will be taken on by Chris Ward a little later. But the gap's going to be quite big, even across the line on the first lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I'm just trying to see, is that the 88 Jag E-Type that's come also from the way back row 4, the Brundle and Kent E-Type? I think that has snuck all the way up, managed to dodge the traffic and headed up into second place.
Fred Wakeman under a bit of pressure here from Saeed Faisal, but Fred Wakeman has got that AC Cobra back up into third place. And I'm just keeping an eye on where Ollie Bryant, who started from the back of the grid, is. He's just crossed the line in 14th place, so it has got away well for Ollie Bryant. Craig Davis has got up to 17th from the back, but it is Ollie Bryant, as we expected, who's making up some good ground. Meanwhile, coming under a bit more pressure, Mike Whittaker in the sort of blue-coloured TVR, as he's trying to hold off a few more of the E-Types, a pair of E-Types right behind him at this stage, and that's Gary Pearson in one of the lightweight low-drag coupes, as also you've got this fight that's going on between that very distinctive number 17 that Tom Christensen will be taking on later. Fred Wakeman driving right now, very unique Frank Costin designed and Lister Jaguar coupe. And let's go on board and get a bit of action as well up in that front group. This is the number 77 car that we're on board, Gary Pearson. So he's actually made a pretty good start, having started from 12th place on the grid. It'll be Romain Dumas later in the car. I think I'm pretty sure it's Gary who's in the car right now.
Yeah, it's Gary in the car right now.
And he's a part of this battle as they're coming up towards the final end of this lap up into Woodcote. And everybody, you can almost see they're just being a little cautious, but battle for the lead, I think, is actually going to be starting to build up. As you said, that leap forward by Richard Kent, he is now catching the race leader as well, so that's going extremely quickly. And it also looks to me as though Bobby Verden-Rowe, number 94, is beginning to put a bit more pressure on Fred Wakeman for third position. In the background, I'm keeping an eye open for Ollie Bryant, and you can't see him in the background now with that gold centre on the red AC Cobra in the background. Meanwhile, this fight for third place is continuing. Fred Wakeman just fending off Bobby Verden-Rowe, and Ollie Bryant has got himself up into 10th place already.
Yeah, you can still see from the rear view shot we're getting at the moment, still a bit of standing water, variety of lines there, a bit more use of curb from the AC Cobra that we can see, the snake-eyed using a little bit more curve. It's a bit braver on the brakes, a bit more stable on the brakes heading into the first part of St Mary's. Swing it back to the right-hand side for the left part, but certainly looking at our sector screen, Ben, the Kent and Brundle Jaguar is hunting down, closing down on the Smith and Franchitti car. We're going to have a replay. Let's see what's happening in the background. A bit of rubbing of door, well, nearly fag paper width there between the TVR, but here, this is the race for the lead, Ben.
It is, absolutely, and this is a very, very close battle. It's wonderful to watch. Is this going to be a change? As we could see Kent trying to come through at the moment. It is proving to be a really good challenge. Richard Kent in second place at the moment, as Andrew Smith took that brilliant start from 6th place on the grid. And Richard Kent has managed to close the gap and set the fastest lap. 1:47.211 was the previous lap. There had been a second between them, 1.1, but over the line this time that gap has reduced even further. Now, how hard does he go for it? Remember, the E-Type in the wet conditions can have a bit more balance than the leading AC Cobra. So we'll just have to see. Mind you, that Cobra has gone so well in these wet conditions, but it may be coming under quite a lot more pressure as we continue. Meanwhile, it looks as though Mike Whittaker is going to lose, yes, another position, as Oh, in fact, Ollie Bryant.
Bryant's in the top 6.
Yeah, he's moved up even further now. So Ollie Bryant into 6th place. Jake Hill was telling us he knew that top 5 was possible. I think even more is possible now as he goes chasing after Gary Pearson. And there's no doubt that Mike Whitaker is missing out a bit with the TDR. He did say it is tricky in the wet, and he is losing a little bit of time at the moment, but he will be handing over to Tom Ingram, remember? Well, big slide there for Ollie Bryant. But remember, this is the car that started from the very back of the grid, and it is already in 6th position. And he's chasing down after Gary Pearson, who's a very successful Goodwood racer over so many years. He's been doing this event really since it all began in 1998. He's very involved in the restoration and of cars as well. We've still got the battle for the lead going on though as well, and this could be a change. Richard Kent is having a move to one side and then the other. Which way is he going to go?
Yeah, they're down into the tricky braking zone into Woodcote. Both of them seem to get the car stopped nicely. We've had the 13 has gone off into the gravel. That was a bit further down the order. Sean Lynn, actually, I think he might have gained a couple of places. It's the AC Cobra Le Mans Coupe, but back to the battle out front. A little bit wide for Smith. Is going to open the outside door, or is it the E-Type squirming all over the road, desperately trying to get some grip? But I think he may have done it. He may brave it round the outside. Does Kent? Let's have a little look.
Yeah, let's have a look. Where's the drive bit? There's a drive bit on the inside initially, but now he's trying to go around the outside. Richard Kent around the outside, through the Magic corner, and yes, he thinks he's done it. Yeah, he has. Brilliant move. Well done to Richard Kent, who has gained a big number of places in this. Started down in 10th place on the 4th row of the grid, and now he has taken the lead of the race. Fabulous stuff. He will be handing over later on to Alex Brundle, but we've still got a little while, at least 12 minutes before they are allowed to come into pit to make a change. Interestingly though, Ollie Bryant has just set a new fastest lap, a 1:46.2, and I think Ollie may have actually already gone past Gary Pearson, because they were very close. Yes, there you are, look. He's just gone past Gary Pearson. He's now in 5th place.
Yeah, storming through. Let's keep an eye on the sec times. He lost a little bit of time, but as soon as Richard Kent has got past, he's blitzed the timing screen fastest of anybody in the first sector. So here's the start. Oh, that's close. I'll have to see that again to see. You've got to go when the flag drops. So we'll have a look. But a great launch initially by Adrian Newey. The number 7 getting squeezed slightly, the Cobra getting squeezed onto the grass, but they all managed to filter through quite nicely, all kept out of trouble. Now, this is the onboard we want to see.
This
onboard
is
with Ollie Bryant. I mean, how many cars has passed already? 2, 3, 4. Just trying to stay out of trouble. Pick your side and stick with it. He's gone in the middle. Let's have a look. The number 9 tries to go around the outside. That's the Chevy Corvette, the Turner Corvette. Keeps it nice and gently, keeps to the outside. Does he have enough room? He does. Tucks in behind the Corvette. We'll keep an eye to see everyone keeping it nice and steady. It's a hard, tricky place to start. A lot of spray in front, and he dives down the inside of Ford Water through the puddles, the standing water, and
somebody had a spin.
Spinner.
Yeah, number 2
car.
Joe Twyman in the Bizzarini. He had a spin, and it was that wet patch, so he did well to sort that.
Very well to sort that. It's hard to avoid when you're going around that corner in the dry, let alone the wet. But he's already on the back of the number 17, charging it down. That is the Wakeman and Christensen Lister Jag Coupe, and he's really within touching distance. Set fastest lap that last time round. The gap at the front is extending. The Kent and Brundle Jag E-Type starting to pull away at the front, but he's all over the back, kicking the rear out through the first part of St Mary's, sliding it through the second part. You can see the Lister in front also drifting over the road. Such tricky conditions here, and that drying, damp phase of this race.
This could be a good exit, because look, the Fred was just a little bit wide, wasn't he, on the exit of Lavert, and now as they come on the straight, this is where the power comes to play.
Squeeze it down. A few more horses has the AC Cobra compared to the Lister, and that proves it right there, steams round the outside, will then have the perfect line heading into Woodcote Corner. We can see just there, it's just starting to dry. A dry line is starting to form, which will favour the AC Cobras compared to the Jag E-types, but already up another spot.
Yeah, brilliant. This is Ollie Bryant, who's now into 4th position, having started from the back, from 29th position, effectively, and that is just superb. Now, what is going on up front? Well, Richard Kent is really pulling away. He's opened up a gap as they cross the line, 4.4 seconds, as you can see on our timing board. So he's really opening up this gap very, very effectively. I have to say, the E-Type, the Cut 7 E-Type is working beautifully well at this stage, and we'll just have to see how it continues, because, of course, with Alex Brundle, who's going to be taking this on, who has so much experience, lots of success here at Goodwood, they're in a great place.
They are in a very good place. He's already coming up to a little bit of traffic, but as you said, handing over to the 2016 European Le Mans Series champion, and that is Alex Brundle. He's been driving all sorts of cars here this weekend. Stick Alex and anything, and he is fast, and he certainly will be fast once he steps into the Jaguar. A bit further down the order, we've still got battles continuing wherever you look, some very close battles on circuit. We've got the 78, the Paul and Prio Jag E-Type that won this race last year. In front, there's Adrian Newey, so he is still circulating. He's dropped from pole position down into P9, so he'll be hoping that Harrison Newey, his son, the 26-year-old former F3, F4 and Le Mans racer, will take over and push the E-Type slightly further up the order than it is now.
That's a good point, and actually because William Paul, who shares with Andy Prio, and they took that win last year, they're down there too. So you've got other sort of contenders potentially in that. But look at this now. Ollie Bryant is now challenging for 3rd place. He's right behind Bobby Verden-Rowe. And I'm not sure that Verden-Rowe's going to be able to do much in the way of defence in his AC Cobra, although he's a very rapid driver himself, of course, Bobby Verden-Rowe. And he's in the Smoke Eyes car, which has always gone well here at Goodwood. But the Snake Eyes, I should say, not Smoke Eyes, coming through the silver, past in the silver Cobra. I think this is going to be another easy move for Ollie Bryant. Yeah, he's going to take what is a potential podium already.
Yeah, another one ticked off the list. And you can see the sun glinting off this drying circuit. Finally, the sun has come out here at Goodwood. He actually has the fastest lap of the race. And I've been keeping a close eye on the overall gap between him and the Kent Brundle Jag that's currently in the lead. It was around about 18 seconds, has dropped to 17.7, and it's sort of stabilised as he tries to mix it through the traffic. But the Jag in the lead at the moment, the 88, has set fastest of anybody in the first sector. So Richard Kent still pushing out some solid lap time.
Yeah, interestingly, Adrian Newey is now back up into 8th place. He's actually gained a position there. So Hassan has dropped back just a place in the number 7 Cobra. And it's a real little bunch of cars together in that group at the moment. Gary Pearson, not too far away. Brian Caldwell actually in the number 72 car that he'll be sharing with David Brabham. That is a part of that in the top 10 as well. So this is the sort of lower group in the top 10, still potentially cars with an opportunity, and they're all really bunched up together, aren't they? We've got this real mix of Cobras and E-Types together in that group. Oh, and also joining in the fun and games, yeah, absolutely, towards the back is the Corvette, Craig Davis getting in there as well.
Yeah, so the Corvette's come from the back of the grid, just starting just in front of our number 1 car that's currently in 3rd place. So as you said, a great battle here between the Cobras, the Chevy, or one Chevy, and a couple of E-Types. They head through Woodcote Corner now. Still dry patches starting to appear on the circuit. They've got quite a gap actually to the TVR, the Whittaker Ingram TVR in front of around about, well, it was last time round, which was about 12 seconds. So we'll keep an eye. There is the Corvette that started way down.
Oh, look at that, trying to put the power down. That's our story, because it's so powerful. Oh, is he actually pulling over? Did something break off there? Because he had a lot of wheel spin, and I thought it was just the fact that it runs so much power. We know it's one of the most powerful, although one of the heaviest, but there's smoke too from the back. There is definitely a problem.
Yeah, well, I was just our camera crew doing a job to try and pick if there was a part that come off the car there, but there's the rear collapse, that smoke from the left rear. Let's have a little look. We can see now, Ben.
So is this something from the drive shaft? Oh, yes, look.
Yes. Yeah.
I think something, yeah, it looks like the part of the drive shaft system has broken, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can see there, and that's just in front of, is that the number 78, the Jag E-Type, just managed to avoid the parts flying off there. So good job there, but a real unfortunate for the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Let's see if they are pulled over on the side somewhere or whether they got just bringing it back home. But times keep tumbling, Ben. We've got a new fastest lap, and it is from the car that started at the very back of the grid. So Oliver Bryant, there's our debris, but Oliver Bryant now into the 136s. And yes, Craig Davis is able to pull the car off into a safe place on the side of the track, so well done there.
So shame for Darren Turner, who won't get to go and play, but a new fastest lap has been set by Ollie Bryant. Here you are looking at him in number 1, having started from the back of the grid. He is definitely in contention for race victory yet again this weekend. We'll find out. He's done a brilliant lap. He's done a 136.7, whereas those around him have been in the 137s, 139s, the majority in the 1-minute 40s. So it's very, very impressive the way he's closing up that gap. And even though we've got a 10-second lead at the moment, as Richard Kent has that advantage, I don't think it's going to last for very much longer. Meanwhile, we've got this fight going on further down for 9th with the number 7 car, Saif Hassan, fighting, being fought at the moment by Alex Buncombe. Alex Buncombe in the number 24, having a little look down the inside, car that is sharing with Jack Tetley, and they were saying, you know, it isn't easy in the wet, but he's up against another Cobra, so it's just trying to find where can you get that little bit more grip to play with. Where's the outside line, the inside line, and he's just trying to have a look. Maybe a little look down the inside. No, not going to happen through the left-hander as they come down towards Lavin. Often you try and make a move, but quite often you wait, actually, and go onto the straight, get the toe, and then try and make it work. Let's see what happens here, Alice.
Yeah, having a look at Lavin corner to go around the outside. Very difficult. You want to get the car stopped, get it rotated, and then get, if you can, on the gas as soon as possible. There's still all cars squirming on the exit there, down this very long, slight uphill straight. You see the crowd packed on either side. He's having a look as they go through this very high-speed kink. Then they'll stamp onto the brakes, and actually that looks the driest part of the circuit. He's having a little look down the inside. Not enough room. The number 7, Sam, closes the door firmly. They'll bleed through the final part of Woodcock corner, but right behind as well is the Caldwell and Brabham AC Cobra that's joining in the fight even more. They're going to have a little bit of traffic in front of them. That's the Suzuki and Ashwood Porsche 906 that will be a lap down. But there is Bryant now. He is closing the gap down to the overall lead. No, I say take that back. He's not closing it down. The gap was 17 seconds. It's now 19 seconds. And the Kent Brundle Jag has just set the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. So Richard Kent's just gone fastest and is maintaining that lead in the number 88 car very, very effectively. But what it is meaning is that Ollie Bryant is closing up on 2nd place. You can see the cream-coloured AC Cobra just up ahead, and there it is, number 79. That is currently in 2nd place, and it's now coming under threat from the number 1 car that started from the back. So although he hasn't had fastest lap, and remember, sometimes you get the fastest lap here and don't when you're in the middle of traffic. He's dealing with quite a lot of traffic. They're all dealing with traffic now. They're already lapping the lower parts of the grid. So sometimes that can slow you down. There's no doubt, though, when you look at the track surface, you've got a pretty good line most of the way around. It's not fully dry. That is a little error there from Saif Hassan. He is running in that top 10 battle, but I think that will have dropped him just outside the top 10 now. For a few cars have managed to sneak past him as he's been off the road. So that's going to, that'll frustrate him. He's going to be handing over to Gordon Shedden when he can. Let's have a look here. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, I wonder if there was any contact around or it was just gone a little bit deep. Yeah, I just think went a bit too deep into Lavin corner and then managed to drift sideways on the grass. Good job not to spin it. The grass still it's saturated with water. But there we go, Ben. Pit lane is open. It's such a narrow pit lane here at Goodwood. Some cars will start coming into the pits all ready to hand over to the pro drivers. So we'll keep an eye out, see which drivers are coming in. But it's already, looking at my commentary box window, very busy out there.
Yeah, in fact, William Paul's going to be handing over to Andy Prio, and of course they were the winners last year, so they've called that at absolutely the right moment, the earliest time they can come in. Quite a few cars are now coming in for the pro drivers to go on board. In has come the race leader, in fact, so Alex Brundle is now getting on board, so they've done it very quickly, even though Smith was actually going extremely quickly and drove a fantastic first into that race.
Yeah, so Brundle getting strapped in, the mechanic helping on one side, and then Richard helping on the other side. So the Bryant car has not come in just yet, so they're staying out at the moment. Track continuing to drive. We saw Jake down there in pit lane with the helmet on. Still, look how congested and busy it is. So I wonder whether the Bryant Hill might just wait to let this congestion die down. I wonder if our 88 car is back out. Let's have a little look. Just leaving the pit lane now.
Absolutely, so we're seeing some more changes now as well, as we are watching to see who comes out next, and I think that's Romain Dumas climbing on board. So he's taking over from Gary Pearson. As we saw, Richard Kent handing over to Alex Brundle, nice and early in all of this, and I think that is going to be a major contender as well. We shall see how Romain Dumas gets on. He's already had some pretty quick performances over the course of the weekend, but so has Ollie Bryant. And Ollie Bryant, who will be handing over to Jake Hill. How long before he comes into the pits? Well, there's the sign. He's going to be coming in, and we shall see how this goes once all of those front runners that make a stop do come in and make a pit stop.
Look how busy it still is down there in the pit lane, Ben, so they'll hope. We saw yesterday in the Stirling Moss, didn't we? It was so congested, so crammed, some drivers had to wait. They were queuing in the pit lane, it was that busy. So here, we'll stick and have a close look. Jake will throw Ollie out, look, dragging him out. Come on, Ollie, get out there, they're very tight to get in. He'll then help Jake, who slots nicely in. Trust me, it's very hard to do your belts up with a helmet and a hands device on, so you always need someone there to aid you, and Ollie is doing a good job. Mechanic going around making sure, checking to see if everything's okay. Some words of advice on the circuit there, passing on to Jake.
And remember, you have to be in the pits for a certain time before you get released, otherwise you get a penalty. So you can't just dash, you wait until the clock says yes, you're there. And he's just waiting now, he goes. Okay, so away he goes, and Jake Hill now heading out in the number one car that started from the back, but which has made incredible progress thanks to Ollie Bryant's initial drive, and you're riding on board with it now, and we'll get a bit of a better view when they are all out once again to see exactly where this is going to settle him into this race. Trying to see at the moment. Certainly Alex Brundle is up ahead of it by a bit of a margin still, because Alex Brundle, having taken over from Richard Kent in that leading number 88 time that was so strong. This is the actual official leading car that Dario Franchitti is due to get into, but it's not a driver change as yet. So it's still Andrew Smith who is driving this car at this point. This is the official leader, but I have to tell you that Alex Brundle's in good shape and still ahead of Jake Hill. That could be a very interesting battle.
That could be a great battle. You can tell Rob Huff is on the circuit in the Jag E-Type. He's just set the fastest lap of anyone. They're down in 18th place as it stands at the moment. A few cars in front of them due to stop. That car once driven by Nigel Mansell many years ago. There is the 88 car, who is our theoretical leader, coming up to a little bit of traffic. An AC Cobra in front of them, trying to navigate. Alex will try and navigate this traffic as quickly as possible. We've also got the new E-Type just in the front there as well.
But that's Gordon Shedden in the number 7 car now, so he took over from Saif Hassan. So you've got a different driver, so he's actually got a bit of a race on his hands in a way, isn't he? Even though he's a lap down, but he still might sort of hold him up a little bit. It's harder to get past him, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look out to see if there is some blue flags at all being waved out there. Remember, these drivers, they will get the blue flags, but they're in their own race at the same time. Can't see any at the moment, so Alex Brundle might be getting a little bit frustrated being stuck up behind him. We're back to our drone cam. Brundle has gone off, maybe trying to get past Shedden or trying to clear the traffic in front.
And this will be interesting because Jake Hill was 8 seconds behind when they went over the line last. And presumably that will have brought him a little bit closer. He's still behind because he didn't lose too much time by running wide there, Brundle. In comes with the official leader that hadn't yet stopped, and Dario Franchitti is going to be taking on the driving. And this will obviously be a front runner as well, but will it be battling for the lead? I'm not so sure about it. As we ride on board with Jake Hill, and Jake also doing some lapping here. He's trying to close that gap down to Alex Brundle. Goes past the number 24 car. That is a car that was running reasonably well in that top 10 battle. We'll see how that operates. That has made the stop now as well. So Alex Buncombe is in there from John Templey as now it's Jake Hill just trying to pick up that pace a little bit further, but you can see that Cobra behind him has got just about the same pace as well, so he's got another fight on his hands, even though that car is effectively a lap down at this point from him.
So the gap at the front closed down to 5.1 seconds now. Alex Brundle, so we'll try and see and find out what happens. Just passing through shot there. Actually lost around about 3 to 4 seconds with his trip across the grass, so not as bad as we first thought. But there in shot, Jake Hill will be chasing down, and he'll have the Jag in his sights. There we go, through the second part, shall I say, of St Mary's, using a little bit of inside curve as Alex Brundle takes it all the way out to the side of the track. So let's have a look, Ben.
Yeah, so this is when Alex, it went wrong for Alex. So he took the wide line. Oh my goodness, he did well to get it back on without losing much time there. And he was just, all he was trying to do was use a wide line, but he discovered it was still very slippery out there.
Yeah, still super slippery, and very good control to get that back onto the circuit, because actually we saw Jake Hill, was it last year, it ventured off into the wall there, so Jake will know how slippy it is. But there in the shot, and seems to be getting closer, is the AC Cobra of Hill.
But I tell you what, as you mentioned, there are some other fastest sectors coming up from other people, and both Rob Huff and Tom Ingram are putting together some very good laps. Ingram had just gone fastest a moment ago, and now it's Rob Huff again. They're quite a long way down. Ingram is down in 9th place, Rob Huff in 12th, and we've got Jake Hill up here in 2nd. So these are all current British Touring Car racers who have all been winning races in the British Touring Car Championship this year. They are all putting in remarkably impressive laps at this point.
As we expect, and this what makes Goodwood so special, whether it's a members meeting or revival. We get a whole host of fantastic drivers come along, and here we are following the quickest car on the track, Rob Huff behind the wheel of the E-Type, and he was so excited. He was like a kid at Christmas on the grid, desperate. He wants a bit of rain. It's not come for him, and doesn't look like it's coming at the moment, but it's not slowing him down at all. Still setting fantastic pace out there.
But he's down in 12th place, so he's got a lot of work to do. He's going to be catching some other car. Oh, and we've got a car stopped at the side, and that's Romain Dumas. Oh, we've got the onboard camera with Romain. What has happened here, I wonder?
I'm guessing that's an issue. He's trying to reset. He has actually pulled off into a safe place, so yeah. He's in the runoff, or the escape road, we could call it, it's the chicane. So good job for pulling it off to the side. Looks like he was just doing a reset, turning it on and off again. Yellow flag is out down there, so no overtaking for those that are getting close. And wow, Ben, look, the lead, it's close. It's very, very close.
On the challenge here, we've all got a battle for the lead already. You're on board with Jake Hill in 2nd place. He's fighting the leader, Alex Brundle, in the E-Type. And there's nothing between them to choose at this stage. The track is drying up a little bit, but as we've already seen, it's easy to make mistakes. Alex Brundle did make a little mistake just a bit further down the lap a moment ago. Now to the inside. Oh no, guys, don't make contact. Oh my goodness, there's no need for that. Jake Hill backs out, and they, for a moment, side by side, they're still behind each other. Is Jake going to have another little look? He's being cautious now. He's going to choose a moment where he feels he can get past. This was the area that Alex went wide. He's kept it together so far.
Yeah, he has. Jake will be used to a bit of door rubbing, wheel bashing in British touring cars. It literally looks like both drivers are absolutely pushing it to the very edge. It's going to be hard, I have to say, for Brundle to keep the more powerful AC Cobra behind. They're going through that little corner now. We have that long straight all the way down to Woodcote. So let's have a little look to see if he's able to keep it behind. Which side is Jake going to choose? Sticks behind for the moment.
Goes to the back. That's the outside line effectively going into the final Matchwick section. That's a tricky place. Where's the grip as well? Because we've still got the track drying out. It's not a fully wide dry track. There are dry areas, and at the moment he still hasn't been able to find a way past. But remember, we've got just under half an hour to go in this race. It's not like he has to make it happen right now. He can build it up. There's still that yellow flag down in the show. Oh, the safety car, right, okay. So safety car period because of that car that we saw of Romain Dumas having pulled over. And my goodness, let's take a look at the contact. I noticed there is a little bit of a dent now on the E-Type.
Yeah, and I think, in fairness to Alex, it was just a bit of a snake on the throttle as he was moving over. It was not intentional at all to squeeze Jake that much. These are so powerful, really powerful machines, and well done to Jake for holding it. Didn't even bat an eyelid. Look, he didn't even wave a hand. He knows it's close racing. He probably understood as well that Alex didn't mean to there, but. We get to breathe for a moment at least anyway, Ben.
You're on board with Jake Hill. He's getting to breathe as well. But what a battle he is putting on. Remember, this is the car that started from the back with Ollie Bryant driving it initially, who made up tremendous territory through of so many cars. And now that Jake's got it, he's really battling for the lead, and very little to choose. But there is, as you say, a little bit of a moment to take a breath or two, take a little break, just strap himself in a bit more tightly.
Yes, he's pushing so much that his belt has slipped off his hands device. He was just trying to move it back onto his hands device, you could see there, but gives them all a chance to regroup. Just looking outside now, that stricken Romain Dumas car has not been moved. The lights appear to still be on it as well, but having a little rundown, Ben, still a couple of cars that's still required to pit.
Yeah, I agree with that, and let's just run through the list at the moment, actually, because it's Alex Brundle who's driving now in the lead car, Jake Hill in second place. So Dario Franchitti, who took over the number 79 AC Cobra, now running in third place. Andre Lotra is now in fourth place in the car he's sharing with Bobby Rowe. Tom Christensen is now out of course, and he's just been putting together a pretty good lap. But behind, Tom Ingram in the TVR that started from the very front row of the grid, that has just set fastest lap before the safety car came out, a 1:25.8, and that is very much the quickest. We're seeing others into the 1:26s up near the front. Jake Hill had done a 1:26, but nonetheless, Tom Ingram has put together a good lap, and he is now in sixth position. And the other advantage, of course, now, Alice, is that we've got a safety car, and it just closes all the gaps up. So whatever gap you were behind, now you're right in a pack of cars once again.
Yeah, you certainly are, and the marshals are still down there trying to move the Dumas and Pearson car that's obviously got some kind of mechanical issue. The Jag E-Type lightweight stricken down there, and I wonder if it's also, oh no, they are pushing it now. I can see out of the commentary box window, but look how much and how quickly the track has dried, and Woodcote corner, which they're going through now, looks the driest of all.
Yeah, it's a great shame that this car is not going to make it through. But I tell you what, I think we're going to end up with 11 cars basically together across the line before we get into cars that have been lapped. And you've got some of the superstar drivers in those 11 cars on a track that's drying out that might suit some of those cars that are further back now. So it could lead to a lot of interest. Let's just take a bit more of a view of the onboard earlier on. This was from the start earlier on.
Gary Pearson.
Yeah.
So you can see very congested going down into turn one. Does he brave it? No, he actually gets one of the cars that got squeezed onto the grass, but he made a good clean start. No bumping of doors, no bashing of wind mirrors at the moment. He manages to gain a couple of places. So Gary, it's a real shame, got a really good start there, and was able to gain a couple of spots through the water. Was also maybe, well, looking to switch for the wipers actually is what he was doing as he casually went through the kink at Ford Water.
Oh, that must have been a bit of a challenge. Another view. This is from the man on the front row, Fred Wakeman, in that beautiful coupe style Lister, and yeah, it didn't quite go to plan in the same way. It wasn't a great getaway. Lost a few places from the outside of that front row.
Yeah, down in fifth place at the moment. Tom Christensen has taken aboard 9-time Le Mans winner and holds the record as well for the most wins at Le Mans, but you can see the bonnet flapping a little bit from the Lister Jag Coupe, but dropped back slightly. But with Christensen behind the wheel, he will definitely, that car will, I expect, will be moving up 1 or 2 spots potentially. So lights on the safety car are still flashing, Ben, so we've got a little bit more time to let's actually see. Maybe
it won't be long.
No, the car has been moved, so there we go, right on cue. And what we like to see, the lights on the safety car are out.
So you've got this sort of lead group pretty close together now, although Jake's got to quickly catch back up again. Third place, Dario Franchitti. So there are some lapped cars in between in a couple of places, but not between the top 2. And they want to try and get them all together if possible. As I mentioned, 11 cars are on the lead lap. Oh, that all got a bit tight. They weren't all expecting it to be slowed down so much. I think, I'm wondering actually, the safety car almost asked them to sort of get together a little bit more, slow it down. Right, now it's Alex Brundle who has the front line to try and get away from Jake Hill, who was already putting under massive pressure. And you can see the power of that AC Cobra as ever, the big American V8 engine in the front end of an AC Cobra. When you've got the grip that you can actually go to full throttle, it can be an advantage over the 6-cylinder E-Type. So let's just see whether there is going to be an opportunity here. Defensive goes Alex, that's quite right. But round the outside, here's Jake's opportunity, does it? He goes round the outside. Jake Hill takes the lead in a car that started from the back of the grid.
Sensational, that is fantastic. I did say Alex Brundle will be hard defence with the extra power that the Cobra has, and also the Cobra is better suited to dry conditions, which is near enough what we have at the moment. So great job though by Jake Hill. He now has clear track in front of him. We've still got some of the lapped cars. You can see in the background there the Chevrolet in amongst our front-running cars. So the blue flags will be out to allow them through. But this is just the restart that Jake wanted, not so much for Alex Brundle.
Absolutely right, and the restarter, of course, always allows for some more battles. This one's way down. This is down in 24th position, in fact. But a race leader there, Jake Hill, now ahead of Alex Brundle running in second. Dario Franchitti, number 79, the cream car. They're also going past the lap car, but still under a bit of pressure from behind as well, and that's all a bit tight, isn't it? In fact, going up the inside there is Andre Lotra. So Andre Lotra, number 94, he's managed to hit through. That 24 car is actually not part of it. They are a lap down. But that car there, Andre Lotra, is closing up on Franchitti now that he's getting past these lap cars. And Andre Lotra could well be threatening in the battle for third place.
Yes, having a pit window is now reopened, and we're going to have a little look at the time to keep an eye. The Franchitti car chasing down the Brundle Jag is slightly faster on that lap last time round. I've been told in my ear that they are adding 3 minutes onto this race for the time we lost in the safety car, which is, of course, fantastic news. We get to see some close action, and these cars are being pushed to their absolute limit around this dry and Goodwood circuit, and it's actually Dario Franchitti that is fastest in the first sector compared to those in front and behind.
That very distinctive number 17, the Lister Jaguar Coupe, that is now Tom Christensen, and it is beginning to come through. As you can see, you're on board with him now. You're riding with Tom Christensen, the super multiple Le Mans winner, and he has gone, that is a lapped car that he's gone past, so he hasn't gained another position yet, but Tom Christensen is not far behind Andre Lotra and Dario Franchitti, so still very much in the fight, potentially for a podium. It may be a bit harder to go after the win, because Jake Hill is just easing away up front. He's got a 2.1 second lead now, I think. Well, maybe more than that, actually. Let's just see as they go over the line. 4.1 it is.
Yeah, Franchitti, though, he is all over the back of Brundle, so he's going to hope to try and clear Alex, who will, of course, put up a strong defence to try and keep Franchitti and the AC Cobra behind. But Dario will know that he's got the legs on the Jag, and he'll want to get past him as quickly as possible, because, like you said, Jake Hill out front has really stretched the gap much more than it was a lap ago. Battle's still raging on slightly further down, so we will have a good battle, I believe, for these podium places.
And it's rather fun watching Dario Franchitti in that Cobra, the number 79. It's one of the relatively rare original right-hand drive AC Cobras. It was built as one of the first of the 3 initial independent Cobras with right-hand drive, and it's been a very competitive car competing here in the past as well, and this is a real opportunity.
Yeah, the Cobra fighting on all cylinders, trying to get past the Jag. Alex Brundle's covering the inside. Izzy, they head into Woodcock Corner, late on the brakes for both cars. You see that both desperately trying to get the car stopped. Slightly different lines in suited to one car to the other. Brundle really taking it all the way to the edge of the track, desperately trying to keep the charging Dario Franchitti behind. So he's done a good job this lap round to keep the Cobra back. But how much longer can he keep him behind, Ben?
Yeah, and both of them being joined, as you say, then as well by Andre Lotterer. So this is proving to be a very, very interesting fight. This is all about second place at the moment. And Rob Huff, by the way, still going very, very quickly. Rob Huff has set another fastest lap. He is currently in 7th position, but he's got a bit of a gap to try and move up. Meanwhile, here's the battle for second place. Dario Franchitti up the inside. Franchitti has got past Alex Brundle. Can he hang on to it? It's looking very promising.
Yeah, he's managed to sand it down the inside into the first part of St. Mary's, but look out, Lotterer's having a look on Brundle as well. He's going to opt for the outside into Lavant Corner. Is he braving it, or is he going to force Brundle to defend and try and get... You can see the front inside wheel of the Cobra just lifting up, not quite got enough to get the cut back. Look at it, using a little bit of curve as well as they're charging up the slightly uphill Lavant straight. He's going to have a look round the outside of the King. Has he made it, Ben? I think he might have just.
Yeah, but they're both being caught by the TVR behind him, Tom Christensen, number 86. So he's joining in as well. Front, a bit of a shake in the front bodywork there. I think it's okay. Maybe it's just the front bonnet. But Tom Ingram is very much a part of this. Christensen is behind them a little bit further back. But Tom Ingram is flying along, just as Mike told us earlier. Mike Whittaker, who started in the car, look at this, he's going to get a three-way battle now. Round the outside goes Andre Lotterer. Andre Lotterer gets 3rd place, past Alex Brundle, but Brundle may well lose 4th place any moment.
Yeah, he might, and I'm just looking at our timing screens, and Brundle's about to lose another place to Tom Ingram, but we've got a possible penalty coming up for the Wakeman and Christensen and the Kent and Brundle car. I'm not sure what those are for at the moment, some kind of infringement, maybe a pit stop one, but we'll keep you updated. Rob Huff has now set another fastest lap. He's absolutely flying and closing down the gap to those in front of him, but out front the Bryant Hill car is continuing to open a gap. Tom Ingram now, look at him, he's all over the back of the Vernon Row, a lot of 94.
Yeah, but Tom Christensen is also having fun here. As you say, there are kind of two battles going on here. Here comes Tom Ingram on the outside in the number 86 TVR, and all the way round, and he's made it look very straightforward. That TVR is absolutely flying, isn't it, at the moment? It's the only TVR on the road, the TVR Griffith from 1964. They had history of racing here at Goodwood in the 1960s. Lovely to see it running so competitively here once again. And Tom Ingram gaining another position. We'll move up the inside, that's a bit further back. Meanwhile, also, we're keeping an eye on some other battles. There's Rob Huff, number 5, who's setting these very rapid lap times. He is currently though in 7th place, but I think he might be about to gain a few. That's actually a lap car that he's going past now, but he's trying to catch Alex Brundle. He's still a few seconds away though. He's still 6 seconds away. He's still got plenty of work to do to catch Alex Brundle.
Traffic can come into play as well, remember. Franchitti has closed the gap down to Jake Hill at the front. Was over 7 seconds, it's now 6.5. Huff still doing a great job, currently holding fastest lap. He will know, he'll just keep pushing to the very end. We've got just under 19 minutes remaining, still unsure of the penalties, but Rob's trying to clear the traffic and get through the 24, which is being lapped at the moment. Slightly further down the aisle, that's the Tetley Buncombe AC Cobra, so he's found his way through. But some impressive lap times popping up, and actually the Ingram car is flying, and that isn't too far behind. Say that Tom Ingram's just done the best of anybody in the middle sector, and he's only 1.6 seconds behind. Well, that's definitely not 1.6 seconds now. He's right up to the back of the Franchitti car.
You're right. I mean, Ingram's pace right now, here you are watching Tom Ingram. His pace is fantastic. Right, we've just had a note that they are 10-second penalties for pit stop infringements, as you thought they might well be. And here comes Ingram. Tom Ingram moves it up into second place. The number 86 TVR that started on the front row originally with Mike Whittaker, lost a few places in the wet. It was very tricky. So it is pit stop infringements that have affected the cars of Tom Christensen and Alex Brundle. They've both been given 10-second penalties, so we need to add that 10 seconds to their list that we're being seen at the moment, and of course that really will affect them. It doesn't really give them any chance now to take victory. Brundle has already been losing places, and I'm actually surprised at the pace that Rob Huff has got in an E-Type right now, because, you know, we've been talking about how the Cobras have got such good horsepower, and that's what's been working for them. But Huff has been flying along in the number 5 E-Type. There he is. He's still got a bit to find, but he is catching that group up the front. I wonder, with the 10-second penalties up ahead of him, maybe there's still a chance for a podium, although it's not going to be easy. Right.
Here's one of our penalty cars, Tom Christensen, changing down gears, coming into Woodcote corner now, running wide, just about making the apex. So he may be aware, I'm not sure they do show it on the start line if they have penalties. Sometimes they do. I'll have a check out the penalty box window to see if I can see anything. But he may not know, or he may know he's got a penalty. But certainly the battle's slightly further down between the 17 and the 94. We're just on board with Tom Christensen. He's now under pressure.
Yeah, he's under pressure from a great Le Mans racer himself as well, of course, Andre Lotterer. And let's see how it's going to go between these two. It's going to be fascinating to see with all the experience that they have. And we'll see. Oh, we've got it coming into the pit, so car number 3 with a problem there. That's one of the E-Types from further back down the order. And Frank Stickler, I think, is in the car now, but obviously it must be a mechanical issue, sadly, that has brought that to a halt. Jake Hill still comfortably out in front at the moment, but it's Tom Ingram in second place who is setting those incredibly rapid laps. The gap is between them, and it was 5.5 seconds when they last crossed the line, but I think on these, you're looking at the sector times, Ingram is definitely a little bit quicker than Jake Hill at this point.
Yeah, he is. Last time round, at 9/10 of a second, he was quicker than our race leader, and this is something we're used to seeing, isn't it, Ben? Tom Ingram and Jake Hill both fighting at the front of the British Touring Car Championship. Jake leading Tom Ingram at the moment by 9 points, so it's extremely close between the two of them. And again, another fastest lap by Tom Ingram. He's the first car to break into the 1:23s during this race. He's closing the gap. 4.7 seconds is the gap now. He's going to have a little bit of traffic from the Porsche 906 that's just in front of him, but you can see it's going to be a real workout for Tom, constantly fighting the wheel, and meanwhile Alex Brundle's still in some battle. Rob Huff has just passed him and has gone on through, moving up a place.
Yeah, he has. So Rob Huff has gained that other place. We know that Brundle's got this 10-second penalty anyway, so he would have been beaten by him anyway, but this is important for Rob Huff to try and get as far up as he can. The next one that he will be going for is about 6 seconds ahead, and that is Andre Lotterer. So there's still plenty of work to be done. Whether he's going to be able to have the pace, what have we got? Just under 15 minutes still to go in this race. It's proven to be an absolutely fascinating race. But what a performance by both Ollie Bryant and Jake Hill. They have control right now. They have the lead of 4.7 seconds, and although Tom Ingram has great pace, I have to say Jake Hill is responding to that and doing virtually the same sector times around the lap. A fraction slower in the middle sector. He's just done a personal best in the final sector, as you watch Rob Huff. That lovely slide. This car's got a beautiful balance, and Rob loves it so much. He really enjoys the flow that it has. Be careful not to get on the grass, though, because then you lose with a bit of wheel spin.
Yeah, he just makes it look easy, doesn't he, Rob Huff? He's pushing the car to its absolute limit. He's got a bit of a gap to close to the Verden Road Lotterer car, which is the next car for him to track down. He's still keeping an eye on this battle for the lead. It's stabilised a little bit, but saying that Tom Ingram's just on the fastest first sector of anyone. There is our lead car. Actually, this car won the RAC TT Celebration race back in 2021. Will it win another one today? Well, not long until we find out. 13 minutes of the race remaining.
Absolutely right. Meanwhile, Dario Franchitti in third place. He is under a bit of pressure there from Tom Christensen. You're on board with Tom Christensen. Tom is currently running in fourth on track, but he does have a 10-second penalty that will be applied later. It won't stop him racing now, though. If he can find a way past Dario Franchitti, still an advantage, because then, of course, your 10-second penalty will drop you slightly less far back, hopefully, from his point of view. But let's see, because Dario, of course, had a brilliant win last night. He's in confident mood. In a different car today, but he seems to be enjoying himself, so it's not going to be easy for Tom Christensen to overtake.
No, it's not. Ingram, again, another fastest lap, and I'm just looking on our map tracker to see where they are. Jake Hill is about to approach some more lapped cars. I think he's got 2 or 3 in front of him, so that he'll be hoping that he's able to clear that quite quickly. We can still see the car of Dario Franchitti, the Cobra, under pressure from the Lister Jag, and that Lister Jag creeping up to the back. They go through Ford Water, and then they'll head into the first part of St Mary's, and then into the second part. Let's have a look. I think our leader, Jake Hill, is now on the back, or at least in amongst the traffic. He's just going through Lavant, so this is where our cars slightly further back now. Our second and third and fourth cars, should I say, are heading through. So we'll keep an eye on the traffic for our leaders.
Yeah, so there's a lot to watch out for in the remainder of this race, with 11.5 minutes to go, as we're still focusing a little bit on that battle for third place at the moment. But we've also got Andre Lotterer here. He is running in 5th place in theory at this stage, although he would actually move up to 4th anyway, because he's less than 10 seconds behind Tom Christensen. But he is being caught gradually by Rob Huff, so we'll keep an eye on that particular gap. It was 5.6 seconds when they last went over the line. So we'll see how that goes on this lap, because we know Rob is also lapping very, very quickly. Not quite as quick now as Tom Ingram. There's our race leader. And the gap this time when they went over the line has come down to 2.6 seconds. So there is no doubt Ingram is going quicker every lap at this stage. He got the fastest first 2 sectors on that lap. New fastest lap. And Jake Hill has not got this all in his bag just yet, because that car chasing him, the TVR, is rapid.
Yeah, I wonder if Tom's just come across a little bit of traffic, trying to see. I think he's cleared it from the shot in the background. Let's have a look. Yes, he is. He's managed to clear the lap traffic. So these two drivers now will be absolutely pushing to the limit. There's more traffic in front for Jake Hill, and once he clears these couple of cars, there you can see on your screen there, and he then will have a bit of free air to try and rack some laps in, or at least try to rack some laps. And he's just going past the Porsche 904, the Piro car, Piro behind the wheel, and then navigating his way past the Sunbeam. He's managed to do so he gets a clean run into the chicane. Next up will be Tom Ingram, who gets ever so close to the barriers on the right and then the left in the chicane, and Tom's going to hope that he's going to clear them down the straight, and just like that, he easily does.
He's down to 1.8 seconds. Look, this is like the British Touring Car Championship. The gap between them at the moment in the British Touring Car Championship is 9 points between these two in British Touring Cars. They've both taken several wins in touring cars. They are going to be battling for the title this year, the 2024 title. And now they're going to be battling for the RAC TT race here at Goodwood. And we're going to see how it works out, because the speed Ingram's got, we've got just over 9 minutes to go. It's not going to be easy. Once he's caught Jake, it's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to get past him.
Exactly, and Jake will possibly know what Ingram's driving style's like. They know each other very well from racing each other. As you said, in touring cars, they've actually had a similar route to get to where they have in their careers today. Both starting their car careers in Ginetta Juniors many years ago, back when I was sort of just leaving Ginetta Juniors, so I know these two drivers very well, always up for a laugh, and most importantly, so fast on the track. So I'm really excited to see if he can close that gap. And looking at the sectors, it's going to be even closer. And actually, we don't need the sectors, Ben. We just need to look at the screen.
I agree. They've both been getting a pretty clear lap this lap. There's not been too much traffic around, but there's no doubt that Tom in the TVR has got a little bit better pace than Jake Hill in the AC Cobra. Over the line they go, 1.1 seconds. Well, there's no DRS to offer if they go under a second. It's all about normal racing from the period, but it'll still be a real opportunity when he's nearly under a second away from the race leader. And remember, one car started from the front of the grid, one car started from the back. Currently, the car that started from the back is leading. The car that started from the front is in second, but chasing him down.
Yeah, you can see actually the compression of the TVR. It went through a very bumpy section of Fourwater into St Mary's. So much so the bodywork blew a puff of smoke as it rubbed onto the tyre. So Tom pushing to the absolute limit. Jake will be fully aware. I'm sure he'll have a pit board out as well, and the team giving him information of the gaps, but he won't need that because he can see the TVR coming up behind. So great stuff from these two racing. 7.5 minutes left to go. They're charging down the straight now. The roaring engine, the roaring V8 from the AC Cobra, heavy onto the brakes into Woodcote, and he's got ever so closer. Tom just able to have a bit more grip as he goes through Woodcote, and he's going to be right on him by the time they get to the chicane.
Yeah, he's not attacking just yet, but Jake taking an interesting line to get a good traction out. He's using that power to get a good traction out of the chicane. That's where the Cobra has that little bit of advantage. But you can see in those fast... Woodcote is not the fastest corner. This is a very fast corner. I want to see the difference here between the two cars. Is there much of a difference in pace? If anything, the Cobra is good through there. It did look through Woodcote, which is a slightly slower corner, that the TVR has the advantage in the slightly slower corners. There's not much difference in the faster ones.
Yeah, oh look at that shot, getting very close, not much room there. Tom getting actually a kick of oversteer. That's probably that hampered his exit compared to Jake Hill. Sectors are fairly similar. First one, actually, Tom Ingram is slightly faster, but he's again back as they head into Lavin Corner. They'll then have the very long straight down to Woodcote. So Jake will be foot to the floor as hard as he can to get the Ford V8 underneath the bonnet of the Cobra, absolutely pumping, and the TVR of Tom Ingram will sneak into the toe, and it looks like he's just screaming it in as they head into the brakes.
Yeah, and this is where we saw that Tom actually is very quick through this section, and again, he's able to break that a little bit later and then maintain a little bit more speed through the corner. You see, he's got it right in behind, but then on the exit of here, Jake focuses very much on the traction, getting a straight line and using the horsepower, and it does then maintain the gap. Doesn't actually really put him away, but it means that it's not an area Tom can initially attack, but he can under braking. Oh no, he's got a wheel on the grass, but he's on the inside. Now Jake's going to come back on the inside and try and retake it once again, which he does. My goodness, the two British touring car stars at this current time in 2024, they are having such a fight here at Goodwood.
Yeah, you hear the gasp from the crowd as well, the cheers. You can tell without looking at the history that they're touring car drivers. They don't always need to use the tarmac, they use the grass as well, and I'm glad that Tom was able to get that stop. Now they're coming into the sector, they've come into the sector, should I say, which seems to be stronger for the TVR, and it's got good power up to Lavant, and then down the back straight. Again, we're looking at the back of Tom Ingram. You can see desperately fighting on the wheel. Look at the lean, even the front inside wheel bobbing and just lifting momentarily off the ground. The same, similar can happen with the Cobra. But here, the charge, once again down into Woodcote.
We've got 4.5 minutes to go. Is he going to have a move into Woodcote? This is always one of the most difficult areas to overtake. Not impossible, but very, very challenging. And if a clever leader just positions the car in the correct place, it makes it very difficult for the driver behind. Tom stays behind for the moment, but the gap is very small. Now, the exit of this chicane, crucial as well. Don't put a wheel too wide. They both did that beautifully. And as they head down in towards Madwick, this was where the attack went last time. Is it going to happen this time? No traffic around, and it looks as though Jake Hill's got a pretty clear run in.
as I said, they'll know each other's strengths and weaknesses. Maybe not so much in these cars, but Tom's been behind a large number of laps now, heading into Ford Water. Oh, I thought he was going to have a look down the inside. Thinks better of it, gets a kick of over to there's the puff of smoke I was talking about. Jake's covering the inside line into St Mary's. Oh, we have a spinner, a couple of spinners.
That's a battle for third place.
That's our battle for third. You're right there, but back with the leaders, and Tom wasn't able to go down the inside, and that's damage for the Tom Christensen car.
And Lotterer's gained advantage, but in the meantime, as you say, Tom Ingram is having another look here. And I think traffic could be a big issue for the pairing here, because if they get caught up in any single bit of traffic, which one is it going to hurt more? Because they are absolutely together at this stage, but that's part and parcel of when you're racing, you have to deal with traffic. Here comes Tom Ingram as close as ever, but Jake Hill as late on the brakes as he can be, yet maintaining control of the speed through the first part of Woodcote, tightening up into the second part. Get on the power, but then oh yes, they are dealing with some traffic, but that was actually relatively straightforward. That didn't hurt Jake Hill. They're both coming out of the chicane in much the same sense, but there is so little to choose between them. Jake Hill and the number 1 AC Cobra still in front of this brilliant TVR from the 1960s, both 1960 sports cars. But let's see how this works out, because we've got current superstar British touring car drivers who are fighting for the championship this year in very different cars, and yet fighting just as hard as we've seen them through the rest of the year and on the British circuits.
Yeah, it's so close, so brave. He's going to try and get the switch back and have a look. Sell Jake the dummy. Jake's wise, he's experienced. He says, no, not today. Thank you, Mr. Ingram, and lives to fight another day as they head through St. Mary's. 2 minutes left to go of this race. At the moment, Jake with the upper hand, but he's soaking up immense pressure. He's like a sponge, taking the pressure from Tom Ingram in the TVR. I'm having a look. Have they got traffic? Not a lot of traffic ahead of them, so they have got clear space, and Tom is getting all out of shape on the exit of Lavin.
Oh my goodness, he's got a chance to get alongside this time. Tom Ingram is alongside, he's got in front. Can he stay in front? This is a place he can probably break a little later than Jake Hill. This is where the car has a good little bit of pace, but is Jake going to be able to come back at him? You're on board with Jake Hill. Is he going to find a way down the inside into the chicane? No. He settles back, tries to get the good exit. It's out of this one that the Cobra is sometimes very rapid, but Tom Ingram has got the lead. We've got just over a minute to go. Tom Ingram is now pulling away a little bit.
Yeah, the TVR's got the legs on the Cobra down the straight, so it was so close, heart and mouthed up, but great job by both of those drivers. We're going to catch a replay, and so late and so brave on the brakes from Tom Ingram. He was through and passed by the braking zone, and Jake did a good job at trying to get the Cobra stopped as well. But really nice, what a battle, and we have gone on to the final lap of the race as well then, I believe. And Tom Ingram already, he's pulled a gap from Jake Hill.
I've just had a message from Aaron, who's very proud about all this. Another British Touring Car champion, Jason Plato, saying they're both protégés of mine in the KX Academy. He's delighted to see what's been going on, these British Touring Car stars. But I have to say, Tom Ingram and Jake Hill have put on a great show here.
Yeah, they have. Jason, I'm sure, as you said, proud protégés of him back in the day. But what a race. What a comeback, firstly, from the AC Cobra of Jake Hill and Ollie Bryant starting at the back of the grid. But from Tom Ingram as well. He's had to fight his way through to get back up the front. Jake, actually, is fairly close going into the chicane. I don't think he's going to be close enough, though.
So here we go then, coming into the chicane after this incredible battle that has existed throughout the race, and coming across the line to take the checker flag, and victory goes to Tom Ingram and Mike Whitaker in the TVR. Second place goes to Jake Hill and Ollie Bryant, and let's just catch our third place battles that have been going on as well. It looks as though it is going to be Dario Franchitti who takes that third place after a great run that they had in the early part with Andrew Smith as well. So Dario's had a good weekend, second podium for him. It's a second, I think it's a third podium for Ollie Bryant, but he didn't quite get the win this time that Ollie was getting yesterday. Fourth place for Vernon Rowe and Lotterer. Rob Huff with Richard Mines got up to fifth place in the end. Gordon Shen with Saeed Hassan, they got up into sixth place. Tom Christensen has taken seventh, and the other cars now just coming over the line. But what a remarkable race that was. as Jake Hill just misses out in the end.